This meeting is being recorded.
Perfect. I pass the floor to Eric.
So, hi everybody. I also want to welcome you once again to this webinar, which is also the conclusive or the official conclusive moment of our project STAR. It will be my pleasure to guide you through this webinar, and yeah, happy to see you all again. And I think we will start with a small introduction of the project, which will be given by Fabrizio from SCI Italy, Servizio Civile Internazionale Italy. And yeah, so Fabri, tell us more about STAR.
Thanks so much, Eric. I will introduce you the project. One second. Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, STAR. About STAR, Storyteller Alternative Tours. It was a project what was long 30 months. It's Erasmus Plus Cooperation Partnership financed by the Italian National Agency. It brought together 6 organizations from 6 countries, Italy, Spain, Albania, North Macedonia, Serbia and Jordan, that explored innovative approaches to youth work through the method of educational walking tours. The associations were, the majority of them were part of the network of SCI, but not all of them. They were SCI Italy, SCI Catalonia, PVN Albania, SID North Macedonia, VCV Serbia, and SSD Jordan. The project responded to a common need to strengthen youth participation, inclusive learning, and digital capacity rooted in local communities. The idea was which were the needs to gap the young participation, which needed meaningful opportunities to engage with communities, culture, and democratic life. It had a focus on digital transition, since digital tools can support participation only when they are connected to real places, stories, and relationships. Make a focus on inclusion. Alternative and sustainable tourism, in fact, can open space for voices and narrative which often are excluded from mainstream routes. And it had a focus on capacity building. Youth organizations strengthen skills in project management, facilitation, research, advocacy, and storytelling. The walking tours became a method. In fact, they are characterized by observation, listening, to map, to tell, and to act. The idea was that these educational walking tours could transform local spaces into learning environments where young people could research, narrate, and co-create community knowledge. Here you can see a picture of the training that took place in Jordan, which its educational walking tours were characterized by place-based learning. They were explored local streets, heritage, memories, and conflicts, which became an open-air learning spaces. Digital documentation. In fact, there were maps, videos, audios, photos, and online tools, which extended the learning experience. It was important the storytelling from the youth, young people who became researchers, guides, and narrators of their own territories. And the community engagement. Residents, activists, and local initiatives are recognized as knowledge holders. This one is the path of this project that I told you it was long 2 years and a half. We had the first team meeting in February 2024 in Rome, and we proceeded with several trainings. The first one in Catalonia about leadership, the second one in Subotizza, educational walking tours, the third one in Ajloun in Jordan about digital storytelling, and the fourth one in North Macedonia about research and advocacy. After that, we had two youth exchanges, one in Rome and one in Catalonia on May 2025. And we had several job shadowing experiences in which we have some testimonies here who can show how they were the experience. And we had a final conference just last month in Rome. In the meanwhile, there were all the outputs and the products that we built together during this journey. It was divided into 5 work packages about project management, capacity building, active tours, research and advocacy, and dissemination and impact. This one was the element which characterized the capacity building, the several trainings, the job shadowings, and some products like the educational walking tour toolkits that it will be shown later by Francesca. And the pilot tour actions that were conducted, as I said, during May of 2025 into 2 different locations, Rome and Barcelona. They were tested through the same format of youth exchanges. And in Rome, we had participants from Italy, North Macedonia, and PVN Albania. The one in Barcelona hosted participants from Catalonia, Serbia, and Jordan. The focus was about migration and urban narratives. In the meanwhile, there were also the local tour laboratories, since each partner created, tested, and improved the educational walking tours with the same young people and local communities. The research was one of the most important elements, since they were used mixed methods, which showed strong outcomes for young people, organizations, and communities. These are the results of the research, which showed high satisfaction of the participants. Several, also the majority underlined that it was improved the digital storytelling skills, increased confidence in leadership and teamwork, and plus the 80% reported a deeper understanding of social inclusion and local context. However, there were some limitations which were not due by the methodology, but by the lack of institutional recognition and long-term support. Evidence-based were youth surveys, organization interviews, and focus groups across multiple European and accession contexts. The findings support recognition of the educational walking tours as a public youth work instrument. Other outputs were the educational walking tours toolkit and the policy advocacy paper, which will be shown later. Here, it will be really nice to thank all the partners, the youth workers, the trainers, young people, local communities, policy makers, and collaborators who shaped the STAR journey. Here, the overview.
Thanks so much, Fabri, for this quick overview of what has been a really powerful project. And as you mentioned, 2 of the most important outputs of the project, which are for sure the toolkit and also the research. I would like to pass the floor to Francesca from VCV Serbia, which was the Serbian partner, and she will explain us what the toolkit actually is and how it can be used as a guide also in the process of creating digital walking tours. Yeah, so Francesca.
Thank you, Eric. Hello, everybody. My name is Francesca. I am representing Volunteer Center of Vojvodina, a branch of SCI from Serbia. And today I will be sharing a little bit more about the educational walking toolkit. First, I would just like to share the link so everybody can potentially find it and go through it. I prepared a short presentation just summarizing the main points of the entire toolkit. It was a collaboration that we did, but it was entirely based on our mentor, Ida Boca. She has more than 10 years of experience in youth work, and we conducted a training in the summer of 2024 with STAR. And based on that training, we created the draft of the toolkit, which was further enhanced by all of the partners and then practiced during the tour labs. In the chat, you will find the link from SCI Italy's website, and I will just shortly share the presentation I prepared. Just 1 minute. Here. Do you see my screen? I don't know, because I will not be able to see you. Okay, I will talk in direct. Grazie. So, the Educational Walking Tour Toolkit is one of the outputs of the Erasmus Plus project, which Fabri already represented. And I wanted to open with the logo of the project because I think it's an amazing design and the story that opens up these important topics that we talked about during the project. So the project identity and the logo encapsulates the mission and features a central star that symbolizes aspirational goals and positive change. Within the star, a drawn map of the city of Rome reflecting the skill development and urban exploration, while the orange color conveys learning and dynamic experiences. Together, these elements visually represent the spirit of the entire project. So when we were starting the training, we were asking ourselves, why are walking tours important? Stemming from the traditional mass tourism, we know that it often damages communities and environments because of overcrowding, pollution, cultural commodification, gentrification, and many other important topics that we all know probably in the civic sector. But educational walking tours offer a different path. They will place the learner at the center of the experience, transforming this travel into a shared journey of discovery and education. By walking together, participants are able to engage with local histories, cultures, and environments in a way that will foster empathy, sustainability, and community connection. These tours were not imagined only about seeing places, they are about understanding them, building solidarity, and creating meaningful learning experiences and connections. And the Educational Walking Tour Toolkit is basically a step-by-step guide on how us from the civic sector and how non-formal education can start teaching young people and other people interested how to create these tours. The toolkit opens up with the introduction to the topic and the main concepts about sustainability and tourism. And then we provide a definition of the educational walking tours. The main element of the entire toolkit is basically the step-by-step process of how to create an educational walking tour. We provided some pre-activity suggestions, whether it's an icebreaker or a group contract, having in mind that this is a training that takes time and dedication to allow all of the participants to reflect on the process and learn through it at the same time. Because of that, the first activity is to understand the foundations, where we provide all of the most important elements and definitions. But after learning about the theory through activities 1 and 2, we go outside and we allow the people to reflect on what they learned and to experience the spaces before having the mapping of topics and deciding what are they important. After that, we have community mapping 1 and 2 and planning of a first educational walking tour. This is important to emphasize just that these are steps of a process just to make it more simple. But with our experience during the tour lab process in the project, fluidity in storytelling is also a very important element, and these are just the guidelines that can be easily adapted in many different niches. Having a practical roadmap, it is only important to keep in mind to have inclusive, sustainable, and story-based routes. And this cute illustration, you will also find it in the toolkit. We have just like this ideated draft of the process that it entails. We start by exploration of what are the most important topics in our surroundings. We need to map them by talking to the people, by mapping out the places and the steps and determining the time, how long it will take, creating the first draft and testing it out. And after we're happy with the outcome of the entire process, we will share it with others so it can help us with advocacy, giving more light to some important topics in our own places and communities. But it is important to, yes.
I'm sorry, Francesca, to interrupt, but the PowerPoint is not running. I don't know if you're running it on your PC, but at least I don't see it running. We're still at the first page.
Okay, that's good to know. Let me just Can you see the slide that starts with practical roadmap?
Yes, now we see it. Try to just pass on the fifth slide
Now
to
it
see if
says
it's
10
running.
structured. Is it? I'm moving it
No,
left
it's
and
not.
right.
It's still remaining at practical roadmap.
Okay, let me just see what's happening.
I don't know.
Maybe I can
If you
just
want,
do
you
it
can
like
send to me,
this.
Francesca, if you want. You can send to me.
I only have like 2 slides more, so it's not a problem. Just let me try it now.
Now it's
Eric?
working. Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So after going through like the main keywords that we had for the practical roadmap to remember to stay inclusive, sustainable, and story-based, the 10 structured activities that we went through are grouped in 4 categories: the icebreakers, the mapping, the storytelling, and inclusion. The icebreakers and the entire process are meant for the youth and youth workers who are learning about how to create an educational walking tour to experience team building and to have fun. The process of community mapping can often require more sensitivity and mentorship. This is why it is important to always have somebody who has already been through the training or has access to the toolkit and maybe some more experience with working with communities, especially if we are engaging with sensitive topics and sensitive communities that are not so prone to be in the main light and can have some issues during the process of the mapping. Storytelling workshops enable development of soft skills, but also teach us how to share what we've learned in a sensitive and educational manner, and to help the sensitive groups that we are living nearby or within to be more included in our society. And the skills, the skills that are developed through the STAR toolkits start with leadership, because every volunteer and every activist has to have this spark of engagement. And because if there is something that is fueling our passion, we need to learn the skills necessary to take the lead and to show people how they can share their stories and how they can help their communities. The storytelling part is also about preserving all of the wonderful traditions that are usually lost between the streets and between generations. This can also help with advocacy on important topics in whatever narratives we can think of. And creating an educational tour by itself, like from the start, doing some research, taking the leadership, learning how to tell the story, how to advocate for them, also helps developing event management skills, because you need to know how to navigate a group, how to organize sessions, how to book, all of these practical things. And they empower youth to lead, tell stories, to advocate, and to organize meaningful community roots. And with that, we have the toolkit impact that focuses on empowerment, sustainability, and community bonds, that helps us to build stronger and more connected communities on a local and an international level through this project. Later in the session, let me just stop the sharing. I think I did. We will have an opportunity to engage in like a practical part of the educational toolkit. And I will now pass on the floor further for the program, and thank you everybody for listening. Also, if you have any questions regarding the toolkit, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francesca. Thank you for this beautiful introduction to the toolkit. It was also really nice to learn about the star symbol. This is something actually that I didn't know about, so that it really reunites all the principles of the project. So since we're talking about project outcomes, I would like to pass the floor to Ola from PWN Albania. She was engaged in the research, which was quantitative and qualitative research based on interviews and focus groups, and service of the participants and youth workers, or let's say basically everybody who was involved. So thank you, Ola, and yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Hi to everyone, and thank you for being today with us to share our wonderful project and some outcomes and results that all of us as a consortium brought all together. And hopefully this is not a closing part of the project, but reflection and taking steps for the new projects, or why not programs, because this field is quite interesting and young people has shown interest in alternative working tours. Maybe Fabri, you can help me to share for those who has been in Rome. It is a repetition, let's say, but we say the repetition is the best teacher for us. But I will go very quickly to present the research data, and maybe to have a reflection also on how we can go further. So it was a research which was conducted in 2026. The aim was to assess how impactful has been alternative routes for developing young people capacities and skills, especially when it comes in terms of inclusion and diversity. Or maybe we can skip the introduction because it is already mentioned somehow from Fabi and Francesca. So why the research was important, as I mentioned, to assess how effective this method is for young people, to evaluate the impact of educational working tours, but also to identify policy gaps and to give some evidence-based policy recommendation for institutions, for youth workers, organizations, and young people. So the main idea is that the research. Yeah, Fabi, you can go with with this. So the research was conducted in the 6 countries that was part of the project: so Serbia, North Macedonia, Italy, Albania, Spain, and Jordan. So we have a perspective of EU and non-EU countries, but also we have Jordan, which has a quite added values when it comes to the data and the perspective. Methodology was combined. So we used the methodology which enabled to bring qualitative and quantitative data. It was a survey conducted with 39 young people who has been in activities of the project, which were youth exchanges and mobilities, which were organized in the countries that already are mentioned. Interviews with 19 youth workers and organizations from the 6 countries, focus groups where has been around 48 youth workers and young people, and it was a desk research and institutional analysis to see what are existing policies, what are the gaps, and how we can focus in future. So now let's see that which are the main findings that the research brought. As you see from the data here, there has been more than 93%, so nearly 94% of the participants who has been satisfied with the experience by engaging through non-formal educational working tours, which shows that it has been a nice way how to engage young people, and young people found very interesting because it was a little different from the trainings and exchanges that they has been in the past. Fabi? So also from the data that we gathered has been more than 87% who has improved digital storytelling. So they have stronger skills in creating and sharing content. Young people has been trained how to create content, how to make digital storytelling, and this has been one of the most significant skills that they have improved during this process. But what is important also, around 70% of them have improved their leadership and teamwork skills. This mostly happen in all the projects, but to bring it through this methodology, we believe that is a sustainable impact that we are giving to young people and to youth workers. And further on, the participants has reported increase in motivation to engage in local communities, has been nearly 89% of the participants. We see the lack of local engagement is a huge challenge in majority of the societies. And also we have, usually we have initiatives how to bring young people closer to communities. So it seems that this method brings young people, especially in the hidden corners that we have seen also in Italy and in Spain, how important it is to promote those who need more voice and attention. Inclusion and diversity was one of the main principles of the project, and we are happy to see that around 80% of the participants has developed deeper understanding about inclusion, especially when it comes to migrants and to different groups which need more attention and needs to be heard even better. Some of the conclusion from all the research, because here are some key points, but you can have a look when you find time to the entire research, which brings more details and analyze of that. So educational working tours has increased the motivation of young people to be engaged in social issues, has developed leadership, communication, and critical thinking, has improved ability to understand social inclusion and diversities, because there are so powerful stories behind inclusion and diversity. And I would say we would be lucky enough to realize where these stories are, and also to have, let's say, the chance to hear those people or to meet those people. And these tours give you that opportunity to explore deeper. It strengthens the empathy and awareness in a real life challenges of people, communities, societies, and also make a shift from theoretical part to practical one, or how we can make it in more concrete and to take actions.
Thank you so much, Ola, for this presentation about the research outcomes. I really do agree with you on the fact that this is maybe the end of a project, but it's also the beginning for many of us, you know, who still want to engage with educational walking tours and keep going on this perspective. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you,
And
Eric. We just left the recommendations, but maybe because of matter of time, so we can cut it here. But sorry.
And I can, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Fabi. We don't need, but I just can summarize
So
quickly that based
no,
on what we have found, it's very important for each of us to reflect how we go further and how some recommendation can be integrated into the local authorities and maybe to tourist agents or agencies, in a way that through the collaboration that we might have between cross sectors, this methodology can have a formal recognition. Each stakeholder can take their own responsibility, and to have some sustainable financing, which is one of the main shortcomings, but also to increase the quality of professionals on this field. And the community and youth empowerment is one of the main outcomes that this method can bring. So anyway, if any of you as organizations or young people who are in this meeting and also couldn't make, you have let's say you have an idea, you want some suggestion how to approach your local stakeholders and how to make it happen in a practice, we are here to analyze together and to see what is the best solution for that. So thank you very much, and let's keep working on these methods and in the sustainability of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ola. And last but not least, while talking about project outcomes, we also did the policy paper, which will be introduced by Fabri from SCI Italy.
One second, I will show the policy paper. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, this is the policy paper. It was done in particular by PVN Albania, SID Macedonia, and VCV Serbia. Thanks so much for this work. So the idea was to bring our work to the institution and to recognize educational working tours as a public youth work instrument. The idea is that what is the message that we wanted to give is that the educational working tours are already deriving youth work, civil learning, inclusion, and community value across Europe and European Union access context. This paper calls for their formal recognition, sustainable financing, and integration into public youth, education, cultural, and local development frameworks. So we can see here the index. Key evidence at glance, it was a highly reported satisfaction, reported improved digital storytelling skills, reported increased confidence in leadership and teamwork, and reported deeper understanding of social inclusion in local context. This one was the outcomes from the research. What is the executive policy message? Across Europe and European Union accession context, public authorities face a converging set of challenges: declining youth participation, skill mismatches, weakened community cohesion, and limited mechanism for engaging young people in democratic and local development processes. While strategies consistently prioritize active citizenship, social inclusion, and transversal skills, applied tools capable of delivering these outcomes at the community level remain under-institutionalized. This policy papers advances a clear position grounded in multi-country research. Educational working tours constitute a functioning youth work instrument that already delivers public value, yet operates outside formal policy frameworks. Their absence of institutional working tours, quality system, and sustainable financing prevents this proven methodology from being embodied, scaled, and safeguarded. Based on mixed methods research involving a youth survey, organizational interviews, and focus groups across multiple European and accession contexts, this paper calls on ministry, European Union actors, donors, and local governments to formally recognize and integrate educational working tours into youth education, cultural, and local development policy architectures. Formalizing the educational working tours methodology is not the creation of a new program, it's the consolidation of an existing one. Here you can see what we wanted to bring to the institutions. In particular, the idea was to call into institutional actions ministries in order that they could recognize, regulate, and integrate educational working tours within youth, education, and cultural policy architectures. Municipalities embedded educational working tours into local development strategies, youth infrastructures, and cultural programming. Organization, ensure delivery, ethics, quality assurance, ongoing capacity building, and youth engagement. European Union institutions and delegations support recognition pathways, pilot programs, and cross-border policy learning. And the donors prioritize institutionalization, professionalization, and long-term framework over isolated project delivery. To conclude the policy perspective, educational working tours already function as public instrument without public infrastructures. They empower youth, activate communities, preserve heritage, forest inclusion, contribute to employability, and cultivate civic participation. Formal recognition is the next step from successful practice to sustainable public infrastructure. You can find this policy paper and all the outcomes in the website of STAR in SCI Italy website. I will send you later the link. And this.
Thank you so much, Fabri, for the presentation of the policy paper. And now in the program, we have some testimonials, 10 minutes each person. So the idea was to have different categories. So we will have first Sarah, which is an activist of SCI Italy, and she participated in a training course during a storytelling training in Jordan. and she's here to give us her testimony. I don't know, Sarah, you here?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Hi,
Maybe
thank you so much.
thank you for the invitation. And yeah, I'm Sarah, and I participated in the digital storytelling training, and that took place in September to 2024. And I sent my application because I out of curiosity also I never I never understood the power of the storytelling. I thought it was something just related to maybe oral traditions of native cultures, but then actually when I after the training I really could understand better how like the power of the storytelling and how also it is related to action that I never thought about. So like the first day, I think we spent the first day trying to understand what is a story, and we understood that we are surrounded by stories. Like we live, like there are multiple stories we live by, and that we can receive stories not just orally, but also stories can be written, we can see stories, we can, and that yeah, they can arrive to us in multiple ways. So like I think we the point was to understand that stories can contain values and can promote values and also action, and can shape behaviors. So the point was to yeah, to maybe shape our behavior based on beneficial stories, and for example stories that encourage people to act, to be active in their local environment. So we did it. I think we try to explore the concept of stories through different activities, for example through creative writing or public narration. And that was very interesting, I think, because we like public narration is structured around three key elements. There is the story of self, so your personal experience; the story of us, so the values you share with a larger community; and then the story of now, that calls for immediate action. So I think it was very clear, the connection between telling stories and then be active. And then we also did like one day was dedicated to a production of a video. So we were divided into national groups, and we decided to like just with our cameras, our phone, to turn videos, and the aim was to send message to to specific targets. Like in my case, the target were as much people as possible. And so I think it was very interesting, because it was not just we are speaking about what is a story, and we are doing activities to understand, but also we were putting into practice our discussion. So we realized this video, and then we shared the video with the rest of the group, and it was very powerful, because we were sending a message with these videos that and I think it's a very powerful mean to reach the people. For example, the visual audiovisual means. Then we what I liked about the training was that also we could have access to technologies that maybe, for example, in my ordinary life I wouldn't have access to. For example, we were given this 360 camera, and we were going around the place, both the inside and the outside, and we could create our own audiovisual product. And it was very experimental, but I think it was interesting, because at least me, I could see the potential in it. So maybe you can integrate in your, like, when doing activism, you can, like, it was the first time that I realized that activism can be integrated by also other technologies, like in this case the 360 camera that I never used. So we had the experience to we had the opportunity to experience practically this these other instruments, like this camera. And at the end, so we could, like, we had like moments in which we could really put into practice what we were discussing about. And then the last day, I think we we were separated into groups, and we were told to imagine alternative tour, so we could discuss about how we live our cities or the places we live, and how can we imagine tour that go beyond the mainstream tourism, and that can enrich our local environment through the use of the digital storytelling. So that includes also technologies like that camera. So that was like a last moment in which we could put together the reflections we did, and also the practice. I had some pictures to show, but I don't know, Fabrizio, se le foto. I don't know. Yeah, there are some pictures that we took during the training that can be shown. But they are just few pictures, that I saved.
You can see
I think you can see, that was the camera. Oh, okay. These were the only one that we could download. But then we could really leave the place, the inside and the outside, and practicing and trying to imagine stories to tell ourselves. So it was very enriching. And thank you for this space.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for this powerful report of the storytelling training. I definitely agree with you. I only participated in a youth exchange, and we had a small workshop on storytelling, but it was also for me, it was one of the most important elements of the project. I mean, we tell, imagine, and see stories since the dawn of humanity, or at least since we have language. And yeah, super, super interesting. Thank you so much. I would now pass the floor to Almaro. He was a job shadower from SSD Jordan, and he stayed for 20 years 20 days in CID Macedonia in September 2024, I think. And maybe for those of you who don't know what a job shadower is, I also recently learned about it. It's when you basically have an exchange between two organizations, and one person travels to a hosting organization, and there this person supports the hosting organization, but also learns about the work of the organization, participating in the activities. And so, yeah, they learn from them, and then the goal is not to exchange knowledge and to bring it back to the home organization. So I would pass the floor to Amaro.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohammed Ahmaro. I'm from Space for Sustainable Development, Jordan. And yeah, I would like to share more about my experience in North Macedonia. And I had like the job shadowing. It's the first time that also for me to interact with the concept of job shadowing. What does it mean? Before I didn't know it. And before traveling, I was also thinking what does it mean, and how I also can contribute to the SID, which was the Center for International Dialogue in North Macedonia, the hosted organization, and how I can contribute with my skills, with my knowledge, but also how I can learn from them about the different context that I am going there for 20 days. Maybe before I travel, I can say maybe it was too long thinking of it, like maybe 20 years, like thinking what I can do in 20 days. But when the experience came, it was different. It was I felt it very short because it was full of different activity, different of things that I was doing, learning, and observing. one essential before also arriving to the destination was the preparation part, like the different meeting that I had with Hamza, but also with other colleagues from the SID, where is like I can contribute, what is my motivation to understand more the context, reading about the other context in North Macedonia. It was also like in that moment it was overwhelming, and then I went for the training. I went for the job shadowing. It started with a training in another city. It's called Borovo, where I had the chance to meet with different young people. SID, they were having a training on with young leaders, young people who were designing initiative for their communities, which was bringing what I learned by reading on the challenges in their communities into a practice and listening more to the stories that they were sharing, how they were addressing this challenging, and how they were. What is the challenges? What does it mean for them? And when after we went for the city where is SID is working, it's called Komenovo, if I pronounce it well. It's a city far away from 1 hour, maybe, if I remember well, from the capital, from Skopje. And in this city, it has like a very huge emphasis on diversity, on youth. Also, they have youth center there that I was also uh, shadowing or like doing implementing some of the activity, but I was like more involved with the youth workers there. And the other part was also to support the SID in different in different thing with their offices, for example, like how to build a proposal to understand more what Erasmus Plus and how we can apply for key to project. So I was learning from them how they were developing or how to develop a project for key to action or to action. And in this time, I learned several skills, but also what stayed with me is the participatory approach that they were working with youth. And this is also went with me, I think, until now, and furthermore, because participatory, and when we believe with young people and giving them the leadership, it was a real one. It was not fake, and this is something that I appreciate. That I think it will always I will remember and back for it. And also how I contribute. I contribute with facilitating 2 sessions about forum theater and image theater. And the interesting about image theater, during my tour in Skopje, or like when I was visiting Skopje, I was shocked with the number of statues that they have in the city. So I was taking in the beginning so much photos of the statues. What does it mean? And I was searching, and then I developed a toolkit or like a 1 day workshop based on these statues and on an image theater, and that it was also different for the first time that I was presenting it there, because the people, they were knowing the statues, they understand, like they have been see it before, and I bring it in a different with the interactive and interactive methodology to learn and to discuss different topic. And this was for me a learning, and what always we care, like what we call about adapting to the context and understanding the surrounding of us. This for me was a practical example that I learned for myself, that I think this tool, it's stay with me, and I was using it even last month, like, here in Jordan. uh, The other thing is like also the about the methodology is when we are speaking about art and culture, uh, it brings me more beliefs that sometime when we have art and culture is the momentum for change in the society, because it was bringing different energy, different outcomes, and open more spaces for dialogue between the young people to discuss. But in the end, we are doing art, so we are not just only producing art, but also we are doing, practicing, and reflecting on what we do. And this also, it was an example like how art can travel across different culture and different background, and bringing people together, because also they were working a lot on diversity, working like bringing the two backgrounds, at least in this city, from the Albanian background and North Macedonian background, youth together to discuss challenging topic and building more social cohesion. And this is also, it's always like something that always I say about this experience. It's when you understand another context, another how they can do a transformation in another conflict, I can learn, or I can understand more how I can contribute to the conflict that or to the transformation that I'm leading or I'm doing in my context. Because I'm out of the box, I understand more what mean curiosity, what mean asking real question to have the answer. So when I take this skill and not just like as a way of observing and engaging, I think this bring another level on my work in peace building in Jordan. Uh, other part of the job shadowing, it was like what happened outside of the office, or what is on the informal time, like when we work with the young people and hear their honest, more like, because however we say it's a safe space, sometimes it's different to listen to the story over a coffee or to listen it inside a session. And then this is, I think, this conversation with the volunteers and with the youth in it was like an open eye for me and a window to understand more the local culture, and to build more like peer-to-peer understanding of the challenges. So this, I think, this conversation with the young people when we were working, or like when we were eating, or when we are going out, this, it was stay out with me. And I think in this conversation, it's capture what always I was reading for Augusto Boal, since I'm a fan of Augusto Boal, for Forum Theater and Theater of the Oppressed. He was saying always like the learning is mutual, and everyone is teaching and everyone is learning. And I think this experience, it's captured in a real life experience. So the learning, it's not only happened inside a session or structure format, also it can happen with exchange. So I think what I get and I have more in my mind now is also in my work, I'm working more in youth participation. I have a better understanding in how youth participation it's working in a different region, how civil society is operating in different region in the Balkan, also through the different meeting that I was attending with the SID. That also for me supported also my work, the belief and the energy that I have it from this experience. It's also stay with me, the belief in art and culture, how it can be cross culture and impactful. And also I think that the last thing that I also want to say is this experience was also for me, like collecting the different values from what you see in, or what was presented here in the report, but like it's like more on a practice level. What does it mean? And also, what does it mean when we are giving young people the space? And this is like the space in common of, for me, it will stay with me, and how the young people, they were the real leaders on of the space there, and how they were running it. Yeah, thank you, and I hope it was not too long monologue.
Thank you so much, Armaro. No, it was not too long. It was super interesting. Thank you for sharing your experience in such a detailed way. And also, yeah, I think you've acquired a lot of skills, and there's a lot that stays with you, you know. Yeah, thank you also for underlining the mutual aspect of learning, that we learn from each other. And I think this is what, yeah, those projects are all about. So thank you so much. At this point, I would like to show you one of the tours that we produced digitally. It was actually, while I tried to, I don't know, let me see. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So it was the tour that we did, me and Marta, in São Paulo, in which is actually the neighborhood where SCI Italy is based. And the tour is called From Ash to Seed, the queer inside of Rome. From Ash to Seed, because what we wanted to show is how the queer community in this particular neighborhood, but in general, was always kind of growing stronger, you know, from the ashes of persecution, but also the HIV crisis and many other difficulties. And so it's a tour basically showing some memorials and milestones of the community in this neighborhood. And I will just show you how. Okay, now I wanted to show you the inside because, okay, here. So this, for example, we went to, unfortunately, we do not have the subtitles yet available in English. So one of the things we did is we interviewed the coordinator of Circolo Mario Miele, which was the first LGBTQIA plus association in Italy. They were born in the 70s, and then they were, especially in the 80s, when the HIV crisis, the AIDS crisis hit Italy. They were on the forefront and you know, yeah, trying to provide a service to people when governments failed them. So you can see, if you some of the tours are already published on YouTube, and you have the 360-degree experience. So I'm just moving it myself on the YouTube screen. And then of course it moves on. There's obviously we worked a lot on storytelling. Let me see. Okay. The internet might be a problem. Okay, yeah. Do you also hear the sound?
Not sound, but we see.
Okay, you see. Okay. So basically here, it's okay. We are going to a street art, which was done about La Cal de Pinier, which was a famous Roman, they called her the mother of drag in Rome. And they were also involved in 1994, I guess, in organizing the first Pride in Rome. Let me see if I can speed it up a bit so you can see at least this the work. Okay, it's getting close. Okay, so here it is. It's called Inside Out, so it's basically showing the both characters of La Calle de Pigné. So his drag character and then Alessandro Bertolozzi. And what is really curious also about the street art is that it's a smoke eater. So basically, the color that was used is eating up smoke. I don't remember the exact number, but I think of 50 cars daily. So it's basically cleaning the air as well. And then from there, we speeded things up a bit and we walked really far to another memorial in a neighborhood, the next neighborhood basically, which is called Ostiense. And there we have a memorial. Okay, see, I'll walk through it, which is called Siamo tutti bersagli, we are all targets. And it's about the persecution of Nazi fascism, of yeah, not only queer people, because you have actually 5 or 6 figures. I think it's 5. You have political enemies like socialists, communists. You have the Roma and Sinti community. You have LGBTQIA people. You have dissidents, and then of course you have the Jewish community. And it was actually the first memorial for where LGBTQ people were included in Rome. And it's nice because it says we are all targets, so you can basically go there and look yourself in the mirror, and it's showing you how in the future, with the rise of fascism, you could possibly, each one of us, each category, but also individually, we could all become targets, under fascist regimes. What is also curious about that memorial is that it was vandalized a lot of times. So it's happening every other week. I don't know if you actually can see people are riding on it and they try to break it a couple of times. Yeah, this is just to show you how those tours look like digitally. And I will maybe stop to okay, here we go. I think I stopped. And I would now move on to Mohammed from SSD Jordan. And he will also give us his testimony of creating. He also created a tour in Jordan. I think it was on permaculture, if I'm not mistaken. And so I will pass the word to Mohammed.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohammed Hamadat, and I am joining you from Jordan. First of all, I would like to thank SCI Italy and all project partners for this opportunity to share our experience in the STAR project. Today, I would like to take you on a brief journey through Ajloun, a city in northern Jordan, known for its a rich history, beautiful nature, and a strong sense of community. Maybe Fabri, you can help me to show the tour.
Yes.
Yes. So when we started working on our 360-degree digital storytelling tour, we wanted to tell a story of community through the people who live in it. We wanted to understand our city from different perspective and share these stories with others. As we developed the tour, we visited different places in Ajloun, including public spaces, public markets, local business, and historical site. However, what made this experience truly special for me were the people we met along the way. One of the highlights of the project was meeting the women entrepreneurs who run their own small businesses. We listened to their stories, learned a lot about their ambitions, and discussed the challenges they face as a woman in our local community. Their experience showed us how determination, creativity, and hard work can create opportunities and contribute to community development. We also spent time talking with older members of the community. They shared their memories about Ajloon and how Ajloon has changed over the years. They spoke about local traditions, reflected their values that continue the shape the community today. This conversation helped us connect the past with the present and give us better understand the identity of City of Ajloon. Another important lesson came from working with the 360 camera itself. At first, we thought of it simply as a tool for creating content or filming tool. But as the project progressed, we realized that it was influencing the way we think. Traditional cameras usually focus on one direction and one frame, but the 360 camera encourage you to look everywhere. And this remind us that we need always to not focus on one angle, but to focus on more than one angle. And it is also give us the technique how we can think and how we can collect the perspective to create the storytelling. In many ways, this changed our mindset. We became more aware about what is happening around us. Simply, the camera 360 encouraged us to think more openly, more inclusively about the communities we live in. For me, just as the camera captures everything around it, we as a young people should also try to understand society from different perspective. We should listen to different voices, engage with different experience, and avoiding limiting ourselves to only one way of seeing the world. And I think this is the idea and the principle that we have gained from the startup project. It's about much more than technology. It was about learning how to observe, how to listen, how to understand, and it showed us how digital storytelling can help preserve local stories and create meaningful dialogue between generations. Personally, what I will remember most from this experience are the people we met and the conversation we had with the local community, with women entrepreneurs, and with older men in Ajloon. We gained a lot of, if I can say, new perspective. The experience also helped us see our communities in deeper and more meaningful way. I live in Ajloon from uh, from my childhood, but in this experience, I see I was so Ajloon in different eyes. I believe that this is the true power of digital storytelling because it's helped the participation to understand the relationship between people and the places and the community. And thank you very much for your attention. I hope I don't take too much time, and I hope that my ideas was go clearly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. I really enjoy your tour. It's really, really nice. And at this point, I'll pass, I guess, the floor to Francesca and Hamza, who will facilitate two best practices. I don't know, is it a small workshop, a small session, let's say? The first one will be done by Hamza. It's about storytelling in walking tours and inspiring change. And the second one will be done by Francesca, and it's about community engagement and using walking tours. And for that, we will split into two breakout rooms. So
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Eric. Maybe before going to the breakout rooms, so one room will be with Francesca, community engagement, and the other one is storytelling in walking tours, just inspiring change and a short introduction how we can use some techniques to develop impactful stories. Maybe just if you have 30 seconds, Francesca, just to tell us about the session, what it will be about. Because we will open the two rooms and it's up to you to decide which one you would like to join. So the floor is yours, Francesca.
Thank you, Hamza. I will be co-facilitating with Ida because she managed to join us on the session. We will be talking about why community is important and what are the ways that we can engage with them while creating the educational story tours, and what benefits and mutual outputs can we achieve through this type of engagement in short terms. And we will be reflecting upon the toolkit and some practical elements of it.
Thank you. And the other one, as I just mentioned, we will talk about how to develop impactful story, and with two techniques or method or way of telling stories. We will experiment together. At the end, there will be a short task or to exercise or to experiment how you can transform solid, rigid facts into something inspiring and promising or encouraging change in your society. So the rooms are open now, and you can decide where you would like to join. They should last 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will come back to this room, to the plenary end, for the last 10 minutes for the closing.
okay. So I think at this point we have some closing words.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Any questions? Last questions? Reflections? Otherwise, we can close. Maybe a group pictures, it would be nice.
Maybe Mohammed wants to say something because I see a hand raised.
What is the next step for this project? Is there an extension or how to develop from there? Because I think today what you presented is a great impact, different tools, and I just want to motivate more that this should not only stop there.
Thanks so much, Ahmaro. We still have to make an evaluation among us, proper evaluation among all the partners that we're going to do next weeks. We are going to share the possibility to have any follow-ups to talk about possible new projects, bigger, smaller, because I think it was really a nice project which touched several aspects of values in which SCI touch. So I think it was really worthwhile and nice. Okay, maybe we can close. Maybe a group pictures. Hamza, can you make it?
Yes. I already took one, and we have the recording now. I see it's recording.
Ah, yes. Yeah, it's recorded.
But we can take a group picture and the consortium. Hamadat. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So, wishing you all the best and hopefully to see you in Start 2 or maybe with different title. It was inspiring again to meet you again and to see you online and talking again about storytelling and to see the videos that the consortium has produced. It's very inspiring and lifting and encouraging to continue this journey. I would like to ask you I already shared the link with you. Maybe we'll send it to your emails. The tours that we are uploading them now to SCI YouTube channel. I don't want to go for a target like the other influencers, but please just disseminate it and share it with your own local communities, friends. Let them see the stories, different areas, different themes, different topics. LGBTQ plus communities in the past and now in Rome, going to the markets and economy and inclusion of societies in Barcelona. We're talking about empower women and part of the history of Ajloun in Jordan. So different topics, different ideas, and the picture is beautiful. It's in 4K resolution, so you can enjoy it. If you have this invention, you can use it, the VR glasses, I don't know how they call it. So please, if you have one, just watch one of the tours and provide some feedback on it. I don't want to buy one for the tours. So yeah, please just share the links with your people, and let's increase the views as much as we can and disseminate the results of the project. Thank you, and we can finish, Fabri, now, and Eric. See.
Thanks so much, people.
Yes.
So I close the recording.
Thank you so much to everybody also from my side.